Good morning. Okay, good morning. Can you all hear me? Very good. So I see there are 28 of you, 29 now. Okay, so this is Advanced Corporate Finance. Hopefully you're not in the wrong class since I already attached all the link to all my classes. Hopefully you are in the right class. So I'm Rafti here. I'm going to be your lecturer or your tutor for this unit. Okay. Today we will be talking on chapter 1, Introduction to the Investment and Finance and the Finance World. Okay. At the same time, this tutorial will be live on YouTube. So why do I go and do it live on YouTube is so that the video will be recorded automatically there. So in future, if you need to have a reference point or you need to rewatch the video, you can always go to the YouTube link to watch it again. Okay. Fair. So solution will be uploaded by your module leader, Rosima. Okay. So tutorial solution will be provided by me in my own way, in my own words. So if you want the textbook definition or you want the typical theoretical kind of explanations, you can always look at the solution that will be uploaded by Rosima end of the week. Okay, in your Moodle. All right. So you come to my class means I will just try to help you to understand on each and every one of the mechanism and the theories or maybe some of the calculations too. So if you feel that you have some difficulty as we go through the classes, please stop me. Okay. You can always raise some questions via the chat box in Zoom. Don't raise it on YouTube because I'm not watching that. All right. So those of you who use YouTube, if you want to ask any question, come back to Zoom. Talk to me in the chat. Okay, stop me if I'm too fast or you don't understand any point, and any point, just stop me. Okay, so let's start with today's tutorial. So I hope that you have your questions with you. Today is a very simple and short tutorial. Only several questions. Most of them are theory questions. All right, so let's start with today's tutorial. So let's look at number one, question number one. So if there's a need for me to write down certain information, I will use the whiteboard as you can see on the screen. If not, it will be verbally explained to you. So number one here, who owns a corporation? Describe the process whereby the owners control the firm's management. What is the main reason that an agency relationship exists in corporate form of organization? In this context, what kind of problem can arise? Oh, very long questions. So there are a lot of questions in one question here. So let's start with the first one. First thing first, who owns a corporation? So this one you know, who owns? Shareholder. Okay, shareholder owns a corporation. Very easy. All right, shareholders are the owners. So describe the process whereby the owners control the firm's management. So this is straightforward. Okay, this is straightforward. Basically, the owner itself, all right, the shareholders itself elect one of them to be a CEO or elect them to be the director, okay, of a company to run the management. Simple. This is part two, question number two. Not question number two, it's the second question of question number one. So, okay, when they ask us to describe the process, why is someone keep scribbling on my thing? So how am I not allowing this scribbling to go on? Hold on. I don't know who is this, but he keeps scribbling on my board, which is a little bit annoying. Let me see, what can I do? Hold on. You still see the dot all around my board, so it's a bit annoying. Okay, let's go back to the question just now. So number one just now is shareholder. The second part of the question is describe the process whereby the owners control the firm's management. So the shareholder will elect. Okay, they will make election on directors and key management position among themselves. Moving on, what is the main reason that an agency relationship exists in corporate form of organization? So agency. So agency here means talking about agency problem. So I'm pretty sure most of you has came across this before in Intro to Finance, okay, in your first core unit itself, long time ago. So agency problem here is basically the conflict of interest between owners and staff. Okay, so what is the main reason that an agency relationship exists in corporate form of organization? Okay, so basically conflict of interest between owners and staff will happen when there's two different expectations or two different goals. All right, for example, just take this example. Imagine a chicken rice owner. Okay, if you run a chicken rice store, your closing time, your operating time is 10 to 5. So at 5 o'clock, if you still have chicken and you still have customer coming to you, will you continue selling or not? If you are a chicken rice store owner, your operation time is 10 to 5 p.m. So at 5 p.m., when you still have chicken and you still have customer coming in, will you still operate or not? Will you still sell chicken rice or not? Yes, you will sell. Why? Because you want to maximize profit, right? You're the owner. Your goal is to maximize profit. But let's say if your chicken rice stall is run by someone else, you hire another person to run the shop for you. So his operating hour or his working hour is 10 to 5. So if let's say at 5 o'clock, someone came to the shop, will he continue selling or not? No. Okay. Not so certain no lah, but okay. There's a high chance of no. Okay, depending on stuff. So some of the stuff might be good. They might sell one or two more pack and then they'll close the shop. But most of the people, they'll say that I'm only paid to work from 10 to 5. So at 5 o'clock is my off time. So why would I want to continue selling? I will just stop and say, no, I will stop. No more chicken. Right? So this already shows a conflict of interest. Okay? This shows there's a conflict of interest. All right. So in corporation, management managed by non-shareholders or non-owners, they will have their own goals and ambition. Okay, compared to what the shareholders have in mind. So that's why agency problem will exist in organization. Okay. So the last question here is, in this context, what kind of problem can arise? So conflict of interest, conflict of goals, and conflict of maximizing share. Okay, so they have different goals, different motive, and different actions will be taken when there is an agency problem. Clear? Are you okay or not? It seems like only got a few of you responding to me, and the rest is keeping quiet. So are you okay? Cannot? Okay, very good. All right. So if I see that no students are responding much in the chat, again, I assume you are fine, then I'll continue. I'll move on. So please make sure you follow us closely. Okay, and if there's any issues, stop us. Okay, thank you. Thank you for your response. Very good. It gives me some motivation to continue. Okay. Come, let's look at the second question now. Second question here, in recent years, large financial institutions such as mutual and pension funds have become the dominant owners of share in the US. And these institutions are becoming more active in corporate affairs too. What are the implications of this trend for agency problem and corporate control? So now, recently, they are telling you financial institutions, FI, such as mutual funds and pension funds, pension funds, have become the dominant owner of the share in the US, and they are more active in corporate affairs. So when you see mutual funds, pension funds, what can you say about this? Low risk investment. Okay, low risk investment, and they are managing citizens' money. Or the general public money. Okay, so citizens or general public money. All right, so these kind of financial institutions, they are not willing to take high risk. Okay, and in this statement here, it says that they have become more dominant owner of shares in US. That means they are the owners. They are the one that are buying most of the US shares now. And these institutions are becoming more active in corporate affairs. Okay. So if this kind of institutions, financial institutions that control mutual funds and pension funds are the owner or are the new owner of all these shares in the US, do you think that agency problem is going to be high or low? Will agency problem be high or low? What do you think? No idea. Low. Okay, low. So why low? All right, very simple. Why low is very simple. Because now all these financial institutions, they are controlling the citizens' money or the public people's money. Okay, and then all these are talking about retirement funds. Pension funds are very important for retirement. They could not jeopardize or risk losing all of it. So in that case, the financial institutions that control these funds are very aligned with all these investors' money. Okay, they will try to protect the investor money and not to make any reckless decisions. So in this case, agency problem will most likely be lower or most likely goes down. All right. Okay. But there might be issues also. All right. This is the first scenario. Second scenario, there might be increase of agency problem too. Why? Because mutual funds and pension funds, although is under a financial institution, but they are controlled by a fund manager. So if this fund manager personality or characteristic is more towards a risk taker, then he or she will probably diverse away from the goal of the rest of the investors. And this will cause agency problem too. Okay, so there's a possibility, not huge, there's a small possibility of agency problem will arise between the fund managers and its investors. Okay, but generally, agency problem will definitely goes down because all these financial institutions will try to protect their investors. Okay, what they are talking about here are low risk investment, so they cannot simply make decisions to gamble or speculate with their investors' pool of money. Okay, I hope this gives you a better idea or understanding on what are the activities being done in the financial institution handling different kind of investments. Okay, all right. So I see there's no questions, so I carry on now. Okay, so some of you here, because maybe I did not do a proper introduction about myself. Again, I've been teaching finance for almost 6 years now. Okay, my background before I teach finance, I'm in the government department doing green research, okay, on the green tech investment back then. Approval of the green tech investment, which is being introduced by our ex-prime minister, Dato Sri Najib. Okay, and then I was also running on startups and VCs, and I have some own experience in managing funds and portfolios of investments. So I used to be a trader also. So these are some of the experience that I could share with you, or some of the characteristics that I could relate to the reality. So sometimes the information that I deliver to you might not be available in a textbook. It's more towards personal experience and real life experience. So it might not be exactly the same answer that you can get from your solution given to you by Rosima in the Moodle. So don't compare the answers. You can compare the answers and relate it together, okay? But don't expect that it to be exactly the same. So if it's exactly the same, might as well you go and read the textbook yourself. Why do you want to attend to the tutorial then? Okay, I hope that gives you a better idea. So if ever any students are not comfortable with this arrangement, you can always inform me and let me know that you not interested to know anything about the real life. You want straight from the textbook answer. So let me know you have that arrangement, or you have anything that you dislike about the tutorial being conducted. So let me know. Okay. So I hope that so far, is there any issues or not? Any problems with you guys with the way that the tutorial is being conducted or not? Can I get some feedback, please? Okay. All right. So I see there's no objection so far. Then I will continue with the current delivery. All right. Okay. Let's move on here then. All right. Thanks for the response. Thank you very much. So the next one here, we can imagine. So the question here says, we can imagine the financial manager doing several things on behalf of the firm's stockholders. For example, A, make shareholders as wealthy as possible by investing in real assets with positive NPVs. Okay, so basically this question is telling you financial manager will do few things to make firm on behalf of the stockholders or shareholders here. So the first one they say here is make shareholder wealthy. With purchasing of real assets. Real assets means tangible assets. Okay. Number two, modify the firm's investment plan to help shareholder achieve a particular time pattern of consumption. Okay, modify investment plan. Three, choose high or low risk asset to match investor risk preference. Okay, match investors risk appetite. And lastly, help balance shareholder checkbooks. Balance checkbook. So these four are some of the things that a FM or financial manager will do on behalf of stockholders. Okay, but later on they say this. But in well-functioning capital market, shareholder will vote for only one of these goals. Why? Okay, so a financial manager could do all these things here, but most of the time, okay, shareholder will only want financial manager to do one thing. Which of these four is the one thing that he want them to do? Okay, so most of the shareholder got no issues on finding their own investment plan. They got no issues on identifying their own risk appetite, whether they are gambler, whether they are hedger, whether they are speculator, they know it themselves. And of course, they know how to balance their own checkbook. The one crucial thing that they always want a financial manager to assist them is to make them wealthier, which is number one. or in the case of this question is A. Okay. Shareholder will always want the financial manager to make them richer. The rest of the thing is not so important. It's complementary. Okay, if FM want to do it, then do it. If not, they can handle it themselves. I'm pretty sure you guys know what kind of investment plan you want, what kind of risk appetite you have, and you know how to do your checkbook. But the tough one is you want to do evaluation on how to make yourself wealthier. That is a bit more work. So in that case, you want the FM to focus on this to make you wealthier. Okay, so simple, very straightforward. All right. So most of the people hire a financial manager because they want to be much richer. They want to be wealthier. Okay, not to handle the petty things. All right. So moving on to the following question. Why would one expect managers to act in shareholder interest? Give some reason. Okay. Why people expect managers to take action on behalf of shareholders? Give some reasons. All right. So few things only. Few things that people want managers to act on behalf of them. Okay. Number one is to protect their own reputation. Okay. Protect their own reputations. Number two, the management compensation is usually tied to earnings and stock price. Management compensation is tied to earnings and stock price. Means owners are not scared that the manager will not try to maximize goal. Why? Because all these managers are given a management compensation, or in Malaysia, we call it commission. Okay, and this will be based on the earning from the stock price, earning in the market and the stock price. So if a fund manager manage a portfolio and they make money, a portion of the earning will go to them as commissions or management compensations. So in that case, shareholder can trust and a manager to act on behalf of them. Okay, so they also choose to pass it to the manager because all these fund managers are really relying on their reputation. So if their reputation is bad or their portfolio management is bad, they will not be hired to handle high profile portfolios. So all these managers are trying very hard to show good portfolios or to show good profitability from their management. Okay, that's number one. Number two, they get a cut of it. Okay, they get a cut of it. Then number three, they are supervised by board of directors and monitored by fellow other managers. Okay, supervision by board and monitoring by peers. So it's not easy that you think that you're going to be a fund manager, you are on your own. No. So yes, you are managing the fund according to your own strats, according to your own formula, but you're still being supervised by the board. Okay. At the same time, your other fellow managers are actually monitoring you. Okay. And lastly, of course, fund managers are afraid of the threat of being taken over. Okay. Threat of being taken over. So if your funds are being taken over by another manager, that means your commission will become lesser, your earning will become lesser. Okay. So why shareholders will have interest to pass it to expect managers to act on behalf of them and make sure and not afraid that they will jeopardize anything, because these four main points here. Number one, managers want to protect their reputations, their image, their name. Number two, they get a compensation according to their earning. Okay, they are supervised by board and monitored by peers also. And lastly, the threat of takeover. Okay, there are so many people waiting to take over their position. All right. Okay. So now, the next two questions here will be talking on the CFA standards. Okay, we'll be talking about the CFA standards here. So you are given a certain scenario here. All right. You have been given here a certain scenario here. Okay, and then you need to make a decision according to the CFA standards. So since the CFA standards, you got nothing much to write here, I'll just let you know. I'll just tell you the sequence and what are the standards that this person, or in this case, might violate. So let's look at the question together here. Mike Lambert, or I don't know, I hope that's the correct way to pronounce it, Mike Lambert, firm's advertiser, its past performance records by showing the 15-year return of a composite of client accounts. Okay, might discover, however, that the composite omits the performance of accounts that have left the firm during the 15 years period. Whereas the description of the composite indicates the inclusion of all firm accounts. So this firm, okay, Mike's firms, he's not the boss here, okay. His firm is advertising past performance record of a 15-year return from a group of client accounts. Okay, and that group of client accounts, some of the accounts has already left the firm during the 15-year period. That means some is not even there anymore. But the problem is the compilation is including those missing account too. All right. Second paragraph here. This omission has led to an inflated performance figure. So it gives an outrageous or exaggerating performance figure here. So Mike is asked to use promotional material that includes the erroneous performance number when soliciting business for the firm. So Mike is being asked to promote using this, what do you call that, super good performance to promote the firm or to attract more customers coming in. So this is the case here. All right, this is the problem here. Okay, so from here you can see it's basically exploiting of data. All right, exploiting of data, manipulating of data. Okay, so this two itself is a simple observation here. So what you need to do to answer this question is to use the CFA standard of the practice handbook to solve this problem. Okay, to solve this problem. So the first standard that we are looking at is standard 1A. What does this standard 1A represent? Okay, misrepresenting performance is a violation of codes and standards. All right, misrepresenting performance. That means manipulating the data to show a inaccurate of performance. All right, okay, so this is the standard 1A that is being violated here. All right, so to debate on this question, some would say that Mike is not the one that used the data. He is only in charge on the advertising. Okay, but the problem is, although he is not the one that came out with this performance data, okay, but he is involved in the activity, okay, on using a data or performance which is being misinterpreted. So he is directly associated to this activity. All right. So what Mike should do is to disassociate himself from the activity. Okay, and then the misleading number. All right. He should be discussing it with the person in charge to see whether the person want to adjust it or not. If the person don't want to adjust, he need to bring it to his superior, or in worst case scenario, report it to the compliance department. I'm not going to write anything down. So this is basically step-by-step way of what Mike should do when he's in this scenario. Okay, the standard that being violated here is standard 1A, which is mispresenting performance or misinterpretation of performance. Okay, so to sum it up, although he is not the one that do this performance, but he is directly associated to the activity. So the first thing he should do is disassociate himself from the activity. That means not doing any promotion with this performance. Number two, he should discuss with the person in charge of the performance to see whether is there a correction or is there a mistakes or not. If the person did not respond well, bring the matter to the superior, or in worst case scenario, report to the compliance department. Okay. And fourth one, Mike must not use any of the information at all for promotional. Okay, and must let the firm know about the reasons. All right. And if lastly, if the firm decided to ignore, all right, Mike might want to consider to quit his job or find a new job. Okay, this is a huge offense. It could be a prison charge. Okay, so if any of you in the future are involved in such firms' unethical conduct, you better disassociate yourself from them, because there's a potential the blame will be pushed to you and you will be the one at fault. Okay, you will be the one at fault. All right, I hope it gives you a good insight here now. Okay, so question number 2 here is also regarding on CFA. So this is another different case here. Laura Johnson is an investment analyst for a major Wall Street brokerage firm. She works in a developing country with a rapidly modernizing economy and a growing capital market. Local securities laws are minimal in form and content and include no punitive prohibitions against insider trading. Okay, so there is no legal actions against insider news, and then they have very little security and data security act here. So in form of content and in form and also in content wise, so it's easily being distributed. So what you need to do here is applying the CFA standard again. Right? Okay. So if according to CFA, okay, according to CFA standard, all right, the developing country might have a much more rules and regulations on this kind of codes of conduct compared to the CFA requirement. Okay, so CFA codes of conduct will be much more stricter compared to the rules in this developing country that Laura is in. So in that case, Laura must stick to the CFA code of conduct. Okay, so what she need to do, is to be aware of the risk. Number one, be aware of risk in the market. Number two, be aware of the absence of regulations on information flow. Number three, be aware of her ability to obtain information. What is the difference between 2 and 3? Okay, because there's an absence of regulations on information flow, so it's very in a very gray area. There's no right or wrong here. All right, but Laura need to abide the law of code and conduct of CFA, so she need to be ethical. She cannot exploit these information flows of information which is not being regulated. And she need to be very, very careful when she obtain information to make sure that she is not exploiting this loophole. Okay, so she must be very aware to not exploit this loophole at all. So a lot of people, students might be questioning here, sir, but what is this, man? This is the chance that she could actually make a lot of money from internal news and so on and so forth. Yes, in reality, that is the case. A lot of people will be so tempted, okay, by the profitability attractions there, by the extra information that you get. All right. But being a certified CFA holder, you need to have a code of conduct. If not, there is a potential that your license will be revoked. Okay. So this whole case will be complying to standard 2A. Okay. Handling of material non-public information should be applied for information that accidentally come to her possession. Okay. So she need to be very careful that non-public information that came to her need to be how to say that, handled in care. Could not be leaked further, or she should not exploit on the non-public information. Okay, so those of you who are planning to do a CFA, keep in mind, you need to be ethical somehow. All right. Okay. So any question? I think this is very straightforward. It's basically according to the code of conduct of CFA, the things that you should do or shouldn't do, and so on and so forth. So no rocket science here, basically. All right. So it's a little bit boring today's tutorial. Let's move on. We have some calculation questions here. Okay, there are a few calculation questions here. Let's do it together here. So look at the practice question 1 here. All right. Practice question 1 here. What is the net present value of a firm investing in a US Treasury security yielding 5% and maturing in 1 year? So the question asks you to find NPV, okay, of a firm investment in a US Treasury which give you a yielding of 5% in 1 year time. All right. So now you need to find the net present value and also the opportunity cost. So net present value, very easy. NPV equals to, because US Treasury, yeah, okay, in other words, is considered as bond. So initial investment is $1,000. All right. Your NPV formula, I think you know, right? Initial investment, cash flow at 0, negative always, plus cash flow divided by 1 plus R. Okay. So in this case, it's only for 1 year, so negative 1,000 plus cash flow later on, okay, because it's only 1 year, you get back your bond money and the yielding of 55%, so it's 50 divided by 1 plus R. Your R is 0.05. Okay, so what do you get? Yep. Thank you, Flavi, for telling Khan. All right. Okay. So what is this figure? How much is your NPV? 1050 divided by 1.05. What do you get? It's negative 1,000 plus 1,000, right? Exactly. So this is 0. Okay. NPV is 0. You don't see any calculation question. What's the problem here now? Come. Laura cannot see. Go on now. Hey. Yep. I just checking on it. Yeah, because they posted here the question for me, but it's hidden. Never mind. Then we just do the. Then we don't do the calculation. Then I think it's not including it. Let me see. So tutorial solution, tutorial one, tutorial extra question. Okay. So all right, she removed the extra questions from your tutorial here, and it's hidden from you. Then we just move on. So it'd be better we move on back to the Kevin Scott's questions then. So ignore the calculation then. So I think maybe she excluding it, or maybe later on it's going to show you because it's hidden from this side. Okay, so it's hidden. Then never mind. We just move on to Kevin Scott. So let's see. Kevin Scott manages the portfolio of James Stavin, a client of Bolton Investment. Kevin achieved an annual return for Stavin that is consistently better than that of the benchmark he and the client previously agreed to. As a reward, Stavin offers Kevin Scott 2 tickets to Wimbledon and the use of Stavin's service apartment in London for a week for free. Kevin is in dilemma on whether to accept Stavin's offer or not. He is considering of informing his superior about Stavin's offer. If he accepts Stavin's offer, he is afraid that he must maintain the annual return, which is higher than the normal benchmark. Haha. So what happened here? So this one, without using any CFA standard or whatsoever, you can already see what are the problem here. So is this an ethical conduct or not if he accepts all the offer given by Stavin to him? Okay, so this is a huge problem of bribery here. All right, a huge issue, bribery going on here. Okay, so I don't need to do the calculation, so we just discuss this verbally. So there's a huge bribery issues here. Am I right? Can you see, what is the bribery statement here? Which one causes it to feel like a bribery? Can tell, can see or not? The ticket to London. Some more, so many things, you see. Let's look at the question here. As a reward, Stavin offers Kevin to 2 tickets in Wimbledon and the use of the service apartment in London for a week for free. Okay, so he is considering, so this person is doubting the tickets and the apartment. Exactly, this is a huge bribery issues here. So in this case, how should he solve this problem? All right, so what will he violate? Okay, so very simple. If Kevin ever accept any of the gift, it's not compulsory that he must receive both of it. Any one of the gift he accept also, he already violated CFA Standard 4B. Okay, he will violate CFA Standard 4B. All right, because he are not supposed to accept any gift from his client as a fund manager. Okay. Next, he must disclose it to his boss. Okay, he must disclose it to a boss. He's considering here, he's considering to inform. So in the right choice, he must disclose it to his boss because the supervisor can continue monitor, okay, and have protect and give protection against this person, okay. So he can protect Kevin, because Kevin is being offered a bribe here, and then if he don't inform his boss, even he did not take the bribe, he might be blamed for already taken the bribe from the customer. So he need to inform his boss or direct superior to be assured that he is being protected. Okay. So the company will also take action against Kevin somehow. They will check his account to match it with this James David's account too, to see is there any breach of trust between the company and also the employees and the investors, to see whether did he really take or accept anything or not. This is a very serious matter here. Okay. So basically, this is it. So what can Kevin do? Because okay, some of us have been all been thinking, if someone offers a bribe, we are not at fault. Okay, we take it, it's not our fault. It's the person that gives us the bribe is at fault. So the problem here is not that now. Okay, when you are receiving a bribe or gift from a customer, that means you are receiving extra benefit from what you're supposed to do. Okay, you might have a favoritism there. So when there's favoritism, you are already considered corrupted. Okay, so in this case, based on Cfa Standard 4B, he will violate this if he accept the gift. And even if he did not accept the gift, there's a lot of action will be taken to protect this Kevin guy. They will observe his transaction, they will observe the customer's behavior, they will observe his relationship with the customers too, to make sure that he really did not take any of those gifts, and to make sure he's clean, and to also protect him if there's any charge or complaint by the customers. Okay, can clear or not? So very easy in fact. I thought that's a tutorial question calculation some more, because from the Moodle here it shows extra questions, but it's hidden from students, so I guess you no need to do that then. Okay, so we jump to the last question, which is the Kevin Scott question. So do you have any questions for me so far? No. Okay, I think this quick is really an introduction. It's very simple.